Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another short little unboxing, or rather unzipping of a pouch to share with you guys. This is my newest acquisition. As soon as I found out that they were doing more of these, I immediately grabbed it, so I was pretty excited. Truthfully, I've already unboxed this because it came in on a Saturday, and I don't film on Saturdays. My original plan was to unbox this live, but I ended up just not doing it. So I'm going to share it with you guys now. This knife has been talked about many times on this channel, but this specific variant has never actually had a full review. So today, I'm just going to share it with you guys. Just, you know, unveil it, right? But down the road, yes, there will absolutely be a full comprehensive review of this knife. Thanks so much to my generous patrons for supporting me right now. There's a link for Patreon right down below. And please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. So this is a Les George. A lot of people, I know what that is. And yes, you have reviewed it. Yes, you have talked about it. No, wait. This is the VECP version 3. The one that I had on the channel was actually the newer flipper that was running on bearings. This guy, and that knife was in 204p. This guy, which is based on the original Rockeye, the custom Rockeye from Les George, and yeah, that's the same, you know, where ProTech gets the name of the Auto Rockeye, which is essentially this knife, but an automatic knife. This is the non-flipper running on phosphor bronze, right there. Can we see him? Yeah. And in CTS XHP steel, which is a wonderful, wonderful steel. I owned this knife a long time ago, long before I started the channel. And I loved it, but back then I was, you know, I had like 3 or 4 knives at a time. And if I got to the point where, you know, even if I still love something, but I was like, oh, there's other stuff I want to experience, I just sold it. And so in the case of the VECP, I remember picking one of these up on Blade Forums for something like $350, right? And then I had it for a while, didn't really use it much, sold it for $350 so I could buy something else, right? That's if you know been around in the knife world for a long time, you'll know what that's like. That's a lot of us do that. I've kicked myself ever since, and of course Les George just didn't make this knife for years, right? Or it just wasn't available. Then he came out with the flipper, which I really liked, honestly. I loved the flipper version, but it just made me miss the original. And then all of a sudden, you know, it's like, hey, more VECPs, excuse me, are going to be available. I picked this up at USA Made Blade, by the way. Some of the retailers that I have linked down in the description might have some of these, but I picked this one up at USA Made Blade. Full titanium. These newer ones are milled out on the show side scale, which is cool. They still don't have lock bar inserts, which is something we're going to talk about in the review. Still working with a pretty heavy duckbill clip. It does have an LBS, the Hinder LBS, right? I think the best way to explain this knife, it's a perfect combination of Hinder XM18 and Sebenza 31. This knife exists in the same quality territory. These are US-made knives. These are mid-tech knives, so there is some, you know, machine work and some hand elements for sure. Small batch, low production, not something that is made in massive quantities, right? So you don't see them very often, and Les George is definitely a small operation. So yeah, it's going to be expensive. You're looking at, I think they're between $400 and $450, depending on what it is, what configuration you get. But, you know, full titanium, US made, mid-tech, right? Some people are going to look at this and go, that is extremely boring and incredibly reminiscent of 2014, and it doesn't look like it has changed much. Yes, you're fair in saying that, because it really hasn't changed much, right? There's a lot in the knife world that has evolved beyond the simple frame lock. But this is still an excellent knife. It is so smooth for running on phosphor bronze washers. Oh my gosh. Now, once that detent ball is touching the face of the blade, it's obviously going to need some assistance. But for running on phosphor bronze washers, this thing is ridiculously, ridiculously smooth. Still no blade play, up, down, left, or right, or anything like that. It's absolutely, completely, and totally solid. Centering, absolutely perfect. absolutely perfect. There's some design things that, design issues that have not been changed since the beginning, and I think, could be changed and make this thing really, really great. But yeah, this is now, now that I have this guy, it's never going to leave my collection. I was dumb for letting it go the first time, and I'm not going to make that mistake again. I did love the flipper. The flipper version was really, really cool, and I still recommend that knife. But my favorite version of the VECP will always be exactly this. I wish that this was textured, but it's very cool the way that it is. So yeah, if you've ever looked at a Sebenza and thought, oh, I like it, it's just this very, it doesn't really give me that tactical vibe. It doesn't really give me that robust vibe. Maybe you look at a Hinderer knife and you're like, well, I like it, but it's just a little bit too much, right? It's kind of too intense with the whole, like, heavy duty, tactical, maybe it's too much. This is a perfect in between. It really is like if you smashed an XM18 and a Sebenza 31 together, and I think Les George, his mid-techs have always kind of lived comfortably in that odd space. In any case, yeah, I recommend this knife. I'm still going to do the review on it so I can tell you guys about my little nitpicks and things like that. But there's a lot of good here. A lot of stuff that did not need to be changed over the last, 7 or 8 years, which is why this is such a good knife. But anyways, I think that's going to be pretty much it. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.